Dat hebben we wel.
Nu live bekijken Call of Duty World War 2 wereldwijde onthulling.
Yes.
Moet u deze wel eventjes online gaan, dat is ook wel handig. Ja, ja. Hij doet wat.
Oh my god.
Hij doet wat. Dan gaat Wouter via Skype gewoon meedoen.
Yes.
Waar ga jij dan kijken?
Ik ga even kijken of je stream goed is.
Ja, mijn stream is geweldig. Ik doe eventjes voor nu even het geluid eventjes uit.
Ja, hij is gewoon goed.
Dit moet ik op één balkje hebben. Kun je even op de stream kijken, Wutter, of het geluid van beide een beetje goed is? Deze even eentje hoog moet zetten. Ze hebben het over alles. Ze hebben het over Battlefield, ze hebben het over Sniper Elite.
Ja.
Niet echt over... Oh jezus man, jouw stem is echt heel moken hard. Wacht dan maar. Wacht dan.
Skype.
Call of Duty's gonna actually beat them to market.
I would be really worried if I was that team, especially
Kan Skype geluid lager net of niet?
Ik weet niet. Heb ik nou pauze gedaan? Ja.
Waar staat dat?
But you know, imagine when that team saw this reveal.
They might be a little deflated, but
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see. That game is still, you know, as I said, it was a big Kickstarter success.
Yeah.
Oké.
It's got Square Enix behind it.
Maar kun je wat zeggen?
Ja.
We're about 7 minutes
Even weer.
from the trailer reveal for Call of Duty.
Mark?
That'll be followed by a presentation.
Mark?
7 minuten, ja.
With some information on the game.
Ik zit te kijken.
Spill the beans. Spill his guts on everything.
Oké, dankjewel. Back on.
Dus we gingen gewoon 5 minuten. Kun je even op de stream kijken of het geluid goed is van dinges?
Maar misschien moet je de dinges even resetten, want die van mij komt eerder.
Hoe bedoel je?
Mijn dinges komt eerder.
Oké, goed. Maar kun je even op de stream kijken of het geluid goed is? Hard genoeg is van dit. We komen met een fucking advertentie.
Dit is geblurred. Er komt geen advertentie.
Peggy 18.
Oh, jezus.
Vet.
Wat is dit dan? Ach ja, boy, ik ben niet.
Hij is wel goed hoor.
Ga praten, jong, kloofviool.
Oh, misschien moet je dat geluid wat harder zetten.
Hij praat niet meer. Hij kijkt nu gewoon heel geïnteresseerd naar deze kerel en hij doet boy.
Zup.
En kijk naar boy.
Goed,
Live!
hoor.
Gaat vooruit. Kom op.
Ik heb hem gewoon goed.
Ik heb nog een advertentie.
Nog een keer dit zetten.
Same time.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say this is both EA and Activision.
Oh, nu kan ik niet fullscreen.
Just sort of witnessing the
Oh, dat is zo raar.
Net nu. Nog 5 minuten
We
maar.
hebben nog 5 minuten. Volgens, ja.
Ja, daar staat nog 3 minuten. Hier staat nog 5.
Gewoon om 7 uur zou die gewoon moeten klaar zijn. Nee, 5 minuten, dit komt wel goed.
Skip ad, Murk.
Ja, dan kan ik nog 5 seconden.
Have you seen those eyes?
So yeah, I'm really
Okay,
excited
mooi.
to see more of this.
Black Ops 4, ja.
Apps saying that they fast tracked this development
No!
a year ago.
Yeah.
Oké.
Laat ze lullen, zou ik zeggen.
In just a few minutes, we're going to Call of Duty World War II. We want to know what you think about it. Tweet your comments and questions.
Oh, nu
at
vragen ze
Wij
om
gaan
te-
dit sowieso
Nu
kopen.
vragen ze om ze te
COD
tweeten.
WWII.
Absolutely.
You know, you talk about how the Call of Duty is still one of the biggest game.
Gaat het nou gelijk of?
If I'm, I
Denk
think it
het.
was the best-selling game of last year, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
Infinite Warfare is still in the top 10 in NPD.
Ik zeg, bij de trailer moeten we wel even stil zijn.
Anything that's that big is going to have.
Die van mij zit nu ingezoomd op die kerel aan de linkerkant.
Yeah.
But in general, I feel like.
Maar die van jou nog niet, dus jij hebt hem nu niet live. Ja, hier, jij hebt veel
And
later.
I'm always
Especially
interested.
people liked Infinite Warfare's campaign.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I mean, they know how to create.
Ze zeggen people like Infinite Warfare campaign. Ik heb een campaign van Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3 en Infinite Warfare nu eens gedaan.
And so
Dat boeit me gewoon veel te weinig.
like multiplayer has become the thing that so many people flock to, and yeah, it has the
Jesus
haters
Christ,
at the
dat
same
is
time.
heel hard.
Like,
Echt hè? Ja.
and at some point, the haters don't really matter. I think.
Yeah, well,
Zo waarschijnlijk missen. Shit,
I'm
sorry.
sure when you have the most like downvoted.
I hope so
trailer
not.
history,
That's a
I
little
hope so.
discouraging. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see what the response is to the trailer today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mag
And
ik
it's
praten?
interesting, just the November 3rd.
Yeah.
Like, we're starting to get more and
Ik
more
heb op 2 hard.
planting their flags in the fall. And so we know
Ik ben echt benieuwd hoe ze gaan reageren, weet je wel. Heeft een Warfare gewoon pure dislike op die trailer?
Ja, alleen maar dislikes. Dat was de op één na meest gedislikte dingen, toch?
Ja, op geen na meeste disliked video op YouTube op de baby van Justin Bieber na.
Hij loopt vast.
Yeah, that is interesting to consider what
Kom
are
op,
the big shooters
zeg.
coming out this year, because last year was kind of a cluster.
Oh, especially even EA released Titanfall
It was
and
Battlefield, and then Titanfall 2 came out right
Like a week
after.
later,
and
yeah.
then it was Call of
Yeah.
Duty.
Ach, Erwin.
and then I think
Wat ik ook hoop is dat ze de beta een beetje vroeg genoeg doen.
Announced first-person shooters.
Ja.
We have Destiny and
Titanfall 2
yeah.
suffered for that.
Maar je kon hem vandaag toch al pre-orderen?
Na de trailer voor mij.
They all have dates.
Ja.
We have Destiny in September, and then we have this at the beginning of November. If
Oh,
the
gelijk
leak is
doen.
true, and then we have Battlefront 2 a couple weeks later.
So that already got a date?
Yeah, they already got a date at Celebration.
Yeah. Those are the realistic
Ja, maakt ook niks
big
uit.
shooters this year that we
Announced
know
so far.
of.
Yeah, again, we'll see if Ubisoft has anything. We'll see. Last year at the Bethesda conference, they teased maybe a new Wolfenstein, so we'll see.
Oh, een nieuw Wolfenstein hoor ik.
The last time Call of Duty went to World War II was World at War.
Oeh, nieuw Wolfenstein. Dat wordt cool.
That's like a fan favorite of the series.
Die maak ik
Ja,
ook
net
iets
zoals
later.
World of War. Dat is alweer 9 jaar geleden.
Ja, wij hebben het zojuist nog gedaan. Beste map ooit. Toen had ik een glitch en ik had alleen maar de Death Machine.
Ja, kijk, we hebben het over multiplayer, hè. Het is gewoon puur... Weet je niet hoeveel zombies erin komt? Dat weten we niet eens.
Sowieso, ik denk het wel hoor.
These games became about the future. These games
Ik weet niet.
became about that doesn't exist, and robots and nanobots and jetpacks.
Yeah. And,
Nou jongens, voor mij... Het is...
That's right. Yeah.
So, actually, they
Volgens
actually
mij
did a lot
komt
of
hij over
stunt
6
casting
seconden.
in the Call of Duty series,
4,
so
Yeah.
3...
I imagine today we'll find out
1.
some sort of celebrity casting
Yeah.
that's going to be part of the next Call
Tom
of Duty.
Hanks.
Reprising his role.
Misschien kunnen we beter daarop gaan, Mark.
Ja?
Thought he died at the
Ja.
end of that movie.
Goed, gauw daarop. Oh, nu hebben we een mooi liedje. Wow, wat is dat? Nou, we hebben een mooi geluidje erbij.
Hoezo is die van
Voor
mij
mij is
niet?
het iets te hard voor mij.
Kan ik hem niet?
Laat ik hem even zo gaan proberen. Praat Wouter?
Hi!
Dan laten we gaan kijken. We gaan er!
Waarom heb ik...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. En hier komt hij.
Peggy 18.
Oh my god.
Hier komt hij. Actual in-game footage.
This day have set upon a
En doe hem
mighty endeavor. Souls will be shaken with the violences of war. In this hour of great sacrifice, we shall prevail.
Is dit D-Day? Dit is fucking D-Day.
Oh shit. Dat is cool.
Als dit een multiplayer map wordt, hè? Oh, dit ziet er echt goed uit ook nog.
We are all that separates the world from darkness. The enemy
Ziet er
is
echt heel goed
Het
uit.
ziet er echt zo goed uit.
cannot. We must not fail.
Duty first.
Thanks, zou het ook in multiplayer zijn? Net zoals in World of War.
Ja, ik hoop het. Het zou wel
Vliegtuigen.
cool zijn. Het zou echt heel cool zijn.
Vlammenwerper. Ja, die moeten we ook in multiplayer hebben.
Oh my god, yes.
Lieutenant, tell them what we're all about.
Fucking Rising Go. Dat was een Evan Garant.
Sacrifice too great. Welcome to the bloody first. You're a long way from Texas.
Dat was de Grease Gun.
Oeh.
Call of Duty
Nice.
World. Oh, dat was de pink van Evan Garant.
Yes.
November 3rd.
Dat is cool.
Dit
Nice.
was goed.
You just saw the world premiere of the reveal trailer for Call of Duty World War II. And we're just getting started. We're streaming to you live from the middle of London, but today is all about you, our fans all over the world. This game is the game that you've been waiting to see, and believe me when I say it's the game that we've been waiting to show you. Call of Duty has the most passionate fans anywhere. And throughout this live stream, we're going to be answering the questions that you've sent to us from all over the world over the last few days. When we greenlit this game 3 years ago now, we knew it was time for us to go back to our roots. Back to the gritty, authentic, visceral military experience that Call of Duty was built on.
Precies.
This game delivers all that, and it also strives to capture the intense bonds of brotherhood that came from common everyday people who rose above the most epic and horrible conflict in human history. And with Sledgehammer Games at the helm, we knew we had the right team to deliver the cinematic scale and the relentless attention to detail that this conflict deserves and demands. Their passion and creativity has been inspiring to me from day one. Call of Duty World War II does more than just go back to boots on the ground. It also delivers a gripping, immersive story and a darker, reverent tone, which captures both the epic scale and the human struggle of this incredible conflict. Like so many people all over the world, many of us, myself included, have a personal connection to this conflict through family members.
Dus hij is de CEO van
This
Activision.
story belongs to the entire
Keer die zijn playoffs erin heeft
This game
gedaan.
truly recaptures
Verdomme.
the first Call of Duty value that no one
Een
fights
klootzak.
alone. Call of Duty World War II also features a multiplayer game that brings back the intense, visceral, boots-on-the-ground gameplay our fans love, along with some great new innovations that push the game forward. And if you can't wait until November to play it, well, good news. You don't have to. I'm excited to announce right here, right now, that later this year, we'll be hosting a private multiplayer beta.
Wanneer?
This is just the beginning of a journey that we'll be taking with you all year.
Later this year.
Ja.
From us
Hij weet het toch niet, jong?
with more information than ever as we reveal all the details we've got in store for you with Call of Duty World War II. And that starts right now. We've got a great lineup here today, ready to answer the questions that you've sent to us. In a few minutes, I'll be bringing up Michael and Glenn from the studio, as well as a few members of our cast. As you'll see, the team at Sledgehammer has poured their heart and soul into this game. No battle was too big, no detail was too small. From the painstaking historical research, to visiting each and every one of the game's real-life locations, to sweating the audio and visual details that get the era just right. The goal was to create the most immersive World War II universe ever. We wanted our long-standing fans to experience World War II like never before, and to introduce this historic conflict to a whole new generation of players along the way. So let's get right to it. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at the creative process at the studio, and a deeper look at what's coming in store with Call of Duty World War II.
Wie blaast jong vetter?
Fuck off.
The Second World War goes beyond all boundaries.
Zie ze goals als?
In every category. We see more nations involved in a single conflict. We see casualties higher than ever before. Just a generation before, at the end of the First World War, the Great War, they didn't call it World War I because they expected that nothing like this would ever happen again. And a generation later, something happens that's even bigger and even worse in so many ways.
Yeah.
We have the honor of making this year's Call of Duty called World War II.
Our chance to tell the epic
Zijn stem is badass.
Ja, klopt.
story of the world's greatest conflict.
There is a genuine interest in producing a product that is historically authentic.
Every part of this game has been researched and nuanced and studied and scanned and photographed. We really tried to get the respect and the details right of the game.
This is about ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
The brotherhood, the camaraderie, the guy next to me. That became the theme for our game.
On a personal level, honoring the story was crucial for us, and it was something we really committed to.
Our story weaves in and out of real historical events. We've gone to great pains to create those authentic battles. One of the biggest things we wanted to get across was a sense of camaraderie.
The people you serve side by side with, you develop bonds with those people.
Hopefully players will walk away from this story feeling like they really know these guys.
Welcome to the bloody first.
And they care about them.
Art influences the game in a huge way. The lighting and the tonality and the colors. We want to be able to have the player feel something.
By creating a very believable environment, it allows the player to slip into this world.
The vision for the art direction we call dark and beautiful. It was emotionally dark, visually beautiful. More than just being cool and pretty, it's about trying to get people to have a deeper emotional reaction to the game.
Our modeling department is amazing. The weapons, vehicles, the tanks.
Ik weet nog niet wat part of the game is, gewoon echt.
Ja.
Zo mooi ziet het eruit.
Dat was echt gewoon haast echt, dat is juist.
Dit is echt?
Ja, dat gewoon haast echt.
Ja. Dit is ook echt.
Ik denk dat we haast inmiddels wel voorbij zijn dat we niet meer kunnen zeggen wat een foto is, of wat een filmpje is en wat echt is. Qua game. Echt zo goed is het.
Everything has to be created from scratch. We had a real opportunity here to do a level of authenticity and reality, true to the war, true to the soldiers who fought in that war. We had this great opportunity with Marty Morgan, our military advisor. We spent a lot of time on a gun range with all of the authentic World War II weaponry.
It's critical to understand the absolute violence of the Second World War. It's critical to understand how weapons and firepower function.
This is a story that's bigger than all of us. This is a whole new generation who might not have a lot of experience with in this time period. I think this is a great opportunity to have them experience that and feel that.
We've made something pretty incredible and I'm very proud of it.
It's perhaps the greatest compliment I've been paid in my career to work on this project.
This is the most powerful game I've ever worked on. It's very personal, it's very humbling.
You know, I've been making games for over 26 years. And I'll tell you, it's the best game we ever made.
We'll be the judge of that.
Die ping aan het eind doet hem.
That is how you do a global reveal, because that's what it was, the global reveal of the new Call of Duty game, going back to World War II. I'm OJ Borgia at the BFI in London, the IMAX screen, the biggest screen in the United Kingdom, which seems a fitting place to have a game of such cinematic scope. Now, watching that trailer for the first time, like you, I was so hyped watching it, and I would be hyped if it was any Call of Duty game, but the fact that Call of Duty is going back to its roots, I mean, I need to just calm down. It's overhyped right now, but between the trailer and the video that we just saw, I am dying.
Nee, je hoort zijn neus. Of is dat jouw neus, Wouter?
Nee.
Je hoort hem echt ziek, echt diep ademen.
Ja.
Kook snuiven.
After 2.5 years,
Is zo snuiven, jong.
This is an incredible moment.
Ah, dat is beide stem.
Thanks.
It is just an exciting moment. Now, my heart's still racing. The audience picks up on that. Thank you.
Adjust your bike.
Dit is die kerel met die beide stem.
My heart's still racing from it. It was gritty. We talked about the art direction in that documentary. Which was
Een fluitneusje. Een fluitneusje.
What I guess it would be like to be in World War II. Can you tell us a bit more then about the detail and the research that went into making this new Call of Duty?
Yeah, you know, getting World War II right is incredibly important to us. Many of us have family members that have been touched by the war, and paying attention to every detail is our way of honoring them. We spent 2.5 years researching, studying, taking thousands of photos, watching documentaries, and meeting with World War II veterans. We visited museums, driven vehicles, fired weapons, and used photogrammetry techniques to capture even the tiniest details.
Yeah, that's right. Look, we've gone to great lengths to follow in the footsteps of the soldiers of World War II. You know, in addition to Normandy, we literally traveled the routes of the 1st Infantry Division and other Allied units, from the English Channel to the hedgerows of northern France, through Luxembourg and Belgium and past the old city of Aachen, frankly all the way to the Rhine. And it was great. We dug deep into the historical battle locations where many
Helaas niet, man. Zo groot was het niet eens in de oorlog.
Dat wel cool zijn.
Ja,
oorlog en
maar er werd niet echt in gevochten, weet je wel. Ja, precies. Daarom is
het wel cool zijn.
Ik care naar je
Frankly, devoted his life to capturing the stories of soldiers on the front line, and so with him as a cornerstone of our research.
Ik ben ook echt benieuwd hoe de campaign gaat, want in World War was het dat je Amerika en Rusland was.
Ja, en een beetje...
nee, echt Amerika en Rusland.
Ja, maar in het begin ook heel veel Japanners en shit.
Ja, het was Amerika tegen Japan en Rusland tegen Duitsland was het toen.
Ja.
Maar
ik wil tegen Duitsers, ik wil al die Duitsers uitmoorden.
Met de PPSR.
Met de PPSR moet ik al die Duitsers uitmoorden.
It's really been great. And for Glenn and I, it's really humbling to have, the opportunity to tell this incredible story of heroism, to honor the men and women who've sacrificed. It really is history's greatest conflict.
The team back in Foster City is watching the stream right now, and a shout out to all of you.
En Wouter, je had vanmiddag echt een fluitneusje, dan moet je weer even hebben. Of een klappen.
We've got tons to discuss, more questions that are coming in from you. You can get in touch with us on our social channels. You can say that no man fights alone, no man presents alone either, because alongside me is a YouTuber, I call him the Crown Prince of Zombies. That is Mr. Dalek JD, who I know is super hyped right now.
Is dat?
That is correct, OJ.
Mr. Dalek JD.
I mean, that introduction was beautiful. And,
Ik ken hem niet. Ken je hem niet? Nee.
He's exactly right. Since Friday,
gewoon een grote zombies YouTuber.
Your questions about the game via Twitter, and the response has just been phenomenal. And there is still time to get your questions in if you haven't already. All you need to do is make sure that you tweet at Call of Duty, making sure you use that hashtag COD World War II.
Ik ga niet tweeten, ik heb niet echt een vraag of zo. Ik denk dat er wel mogelijk wel vragen komen.
We have at Cal's Tweetings who says, I'm so excited, I can't believe it, COD is going back to its roots.
See, there you go. That's what a lot of tweets are saying, that Call of Duty going back to its roots. But this
eindelijk, maar toch, na 3 jaar gaan ze weer voor de boots on the ground.
Ja, verdomme. returns to that grounded, fast action gameplay that the franchise
is cool.
on. And for us, the core Call of Duty experience, like the conflict of World War II, really puts an emphasis now on rewarding gun skill and strategy.
Fucking
with an all-new boots on the ground experience that immerses players in the intense combat of World War II like never before. We're bringing some great new innovations too, things that were designed to elevate the player experience. Things we want to touch about.
Ja, ik ben benieuwd wat Trey nu gaat doen eigenlijk. Want eigenlijk hadden hun een World War 2 moeten maken, weet je wel? Want fucken. Fucken. Dat is denk ik wel de beste van z'n 3.
Ja, maar hun beurt is al geweest. Laat die plek op 3, ga weg joh.
Ja, ik ben benieuwd wat er nu komt.
Judging by you guys over on Twitter, it seems I'm not the only one. Loads of fans are expressing their excitement around the fact of us being able to experience World War II era weaponry. Fans like Games412412 who tweets in saying, what kind of weapons will we be seeing in Call of Duty World War II?
Well, the team worked to bring a wide variety of weapons, from both the Allied and Axis forces to life. And for us, authenticity was key. So from the iconic ping of the empty M1 Garand to the power of the first assault rifle, the STG-44, these guns have a real weight to them that is really visceral.
Sowieso haast alle wapens van World at War moeten er ook wel in zitten. Ja. Dat waren gewoon de meest iconische wapens.
De Reagan.
Misschien ook wat meer shotguns, want er waren maar 2 van.
Automatic weapons symbolize brutality of World War II more than the belt-fed MG42, which you'll see. Terrifyingly powerful weapon. There's the bolt action rifles of World War II and the singular damage that they could inflict in combat.
De kracht 90k van bolt action.
Wat beter.
And equipped with scopes or iron sights, these weapons.
Ik ben wel benieuwd hoe ze gaan met killstreaks gaan doen, weet je wel?
And of course, Glenn
een coole sniper.
45 caliber
Springfield.
Gun, running around.
De Griesgun, die zat niet in World at War.
Is een snuiver, joh.
Let's not start.
That just scratches the surface, frankly.
The king of spray and pray, eh? So Glenn, what did you enjoy most then about making a World War II game with the current hardware?
Yeah, good question. I really love the detail we can bring to the game nowadays. The way the soldiers walked and talked, the music of the era, the different locations we researched as the big set pieces for iconic battles. In Normandy specifically, it's the emotions created by combining elements like the sound of the 50 caliber rounds hitting the front of the boat, the vehicles crashing into the shore, and taking cover behind the hedgehogs. In each case, we're targeting the most realistic gaming experience possible.
And that's what it's about, isn't it? That realistic experience, that visceral sound that goes on as well. Dalek, what else is the community wanting to know?
Well, Borg, we have a tweet in from It's Enigma for the Win, who wants to know, what locations are we going to be fighting in?
Well, the game takes place entirely in the European theater, primarily between 1944 and 1945. And as you saw in the reveal trailer, players will storm the beaches of Normandy on D-Day, fight through the Hurtgen forest.
Dat is cool.
Engage in urban combat through France and Belgium.
Het enige spel die ik weet die ook goed die had nagemaakt was Medal of Honor Allied Assault. En dat kwam van 2001 of zo.
Nou, dit spel met die realistische shit.
And while the story follows the 1st Infantry Division, we also fold in a story of diverse and global cast of characters like Major Crowley from the SOE. Now he's a UK intel officer who earns recognition for his heroism earlier in the war. He helps plan the Normandy landings and then coordinates with the French resistance activities.
Yeah, and while fighting through the German lines in France, players will be introduced to other great characters such as Rousseau, the powerful female leader of the French resistance who forms a close bond with all our cast members, cast of characters, as the story progresses. Throughout much of the campaign, though, you're going to play as Private Red Daniels.
Hij was meester spelen, jongen.
Who is seeing some of his first real action in the invasion of Normandy. He's joined by his best friend Zussman, a Jewish American private. You'll follow our squad across the European theater, and we're excited to say that a part of the cast is here today to talk more about the incredible journey.
They are indeed. We'll bring them up on stage in a second. Glenn, Michael, don't go anywhere because we will be talking to you later on with some more questions from the community. Keep them coming in. But please do give a warm welcome to Jonathan Tuck, who plays Red's best friend, Private Zussman. If we swap everyone out, we'll swap everyone out as we do this bit. And Jeffrey Pierce, who plays Lieutenant Turner. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. And it's great to have the cast in as well, because one of the great things about Call of Duty
En dan zijn hun gezichten ook echt...
ja.
That goes on, and we've got the 3 J's here right now. Josh, I know you've had a huge amount of passion from this game since day one, being part of this project. What most excited you?
Well, when I first heard about it, I sat with Brett and with Glenn, and they wouldn't even tell me what the game was at first because it was so confidential. And then, you know, they just told, you know, it was really about what the history of this was about and how much detail they wanted to pay to it. And as I really got to, you know, learn more about it and actually start working on the game, not only did they pay attention historically, but the writing was so incredibly good. I mean, it rivals anything that I've ever read, you know, as far as movie scripts. So, you know, it's just something that I've always wanted to do, and it turned out to be as much fun as any job I've ever had.
And as Eric said earlier on, the story of World War II touches a lot of people emotionally, and that was something you brought into your performance, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, again, who knew? I thought it was just going to be a good time playing, you know, getting to work on a video game, and it turns out that these, you know, some of the scene work we got to do in this game was amazing, and these characters are so well rounded, and you know, they were right. They really did pay a lot of attention to, you know, being historically accurate and making sure these characters were had a lot of depth.
And if we're talking about characters, tell me about your character, the guy you play.
Well, I don't know, boys. What was he? He's a bit of a dick. He's somebody who is obviously mission before man, and you know, it was something that was fun for me because I love playing the dick. I love playing the guy who everybody hates, and ultimately he has the dilemma about, you know, is it mission before man, or is it really man before mission? Because he connects to these guys by the end of this story, and that's really what drew me to it.
Well, if we're talking about connection, what was it like then, Jeffrey, when you're working together, that brotherhood feeling, when you're capturing your performances?
Well, we've been working together for 1.5 years at this point. Once a month, coming in, work 4 or 5 days. And I think we all bonded extraordinarily well. I mean, you don't mesh with people necessarily.
You don't mesh
we walked
with people.
in the room, it felt like I'd known these guys for 10 years. And the work that we're being asked to do is of a scope of a massive feature film. And the storytelling, sort of where games are at now, what you can capture, the detail and performance. Story is as important as gameplay. And gameplay has always been seamless in Call of Duty, but this is like really getting to do work of a level that you would expect to do in a film.
And once you get past the, you know, the tight suit and the little reflector ping pong balls
You
and the
make that
helmet
work.
and the
You
helmet.
really
And
make
once
that
you
work.
get past that, it feels like you're doing theater, I swear.
Yeah.
Because there's no, there's no coverage, there's no
Yeah,
close-up, so
yeah.
everybody is active the entire time in the motion capture or the PCAP sessions that we're doing, and it's an extraordinarily active
Dat is echt wel cool.
process where everybody is working the entire time. It's an exciting process to be a part of as an actor. The performances.
Dat jong doe is niet zo kloofjool.
And so much more of an exciting process to be a part of.
And you're relying on everybody else to help you get where you need to get. It's a great experience.
Well, because that's something you said to me earlier. I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but we met in the gym this morning. We bumped into each other. We were doing our mirror work, bumped and tons. And you said it was like being on stage, and it lent a whole new dimension to your performances. Because I think when you're doing TV or film, you can be off, can't you?
Oh yeah, I mean Josh and I, this is our first video game. Jeff's done quite a few. We're used to just sitting back on our Apple boxes in between takes, letting other people get their shots, but for the
I missed the World War II era.
Up to this point it was just...
Dus hij wil weer in World War II leven.
Ja.
Nou, geweldig.
Head off to the trailer.
Yeah, off to the trailer. Call me.
Oh, die piept.
That's about it. That's what I got.
These 18 months with these guys, I've gotten to see both their kids grow up. They've gotten to see my dog get bigger. We've seen other cast members, lose girlfriends,
My
get
dick
girlfriends.
get bigger, dacht ik dat hij zei.
It was very reflective of this group of regular people who are diverse in religion, in age, in geography, in color, and getting to see that group of people in World War II is, I think, a wholly unique part of this game that I think people will appreciate when playing.
When you scratch the surface, you find out that these guys, they're not fighting for bigger ideas than the love of the brothers around them and risking their lives, sacrificing themselves for each other. It's not about flag or country when the rubber meets the road. It's about caring for each other, and that serves the bigger whole. But the connection
Fucking
between
vet.
the men and the women on the front
Hij
lines
Evan Grant, die ping.
is as powerful a bond as you could see anywhere.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is also really cool about this is that not only is it a kick-ass game, but because they spent so much time making this historically accurate, it's going to expose the whole World War II story to a whole new generation. And that's really, I'm really honored to be a part of this game for that reason. And the fact that I get just sit to be in a video game, but the fact that it's, it is a visceral sort of thing, and I think that, anybody who isn't familiar with World War II is going to get a real feel for what it might have been like.
Because lots of people are writing articles about that at the moment, saying that this is how we get our history now. It's through this, and there's almost more empathy when you're fighting through an interactive character.
Well, there's 20 years since Saving Private Ryan. It's 10 years since Call of Duty had a World War II game. This is a whole new generation, and to speak to the pride that we've all felt making this game, it has been a true privilege to even watching this behind the scenes, to be able to share with the world the small role that we've gotten to play in bringing this game to fans and a whole new generation to understand World War II.
Yeah. Josh, you mentioned connections. Am I right in thinking that somebody who sat around on this stage right now got a punch in on you at some point during the film?
Well, he did. Like we were saying, it's usually one take. You get the one take right and you move on to the next scene. Well, he kept screwing it up and taking another. Can I get one more?
We had to get it right.
I just need one more.
Very important to get it right.
Starting to wonder
authenticity. We're back to visceral authenticity, and you can't, hit somebody who's 6'4" every day without repercussions. So I took my licks where I could.
appreciate your dedication to the craft.
I just don't like that take. Let's do it one more time. We've got Iron Bar. We're actually watching on the screen right now. We're watching your characters. What is it like watching yourself back? Having gone there, we saw the punch. What is it like watching yourself back in the game at this point? Because obviously you've done TV, you've done films, but watching yourself in the game.
Well, it takes a while to adjust to this tight, suit that you're wearing. It's all colorful with these balls and the whole thing.
Who looked the best? Who looked the best in the suit?
Jonathan, for sure. He's been doing a lot of squats.
Heavy deadlifting. Heavy deadlifting makes the suit look nice.
Once you get past that, and once you start to see some of the results and some of the stuff that the guys are working on in Foster City and all over the world, I think. I'm not sure where everybody's at, but again, thank you guys for all the work. But once you start to see what you're actually going to look like, it frees you up to really go for it, because you're not just in some silly suit. This is World War II, and this is some serious stuff. Yeah. And so it gives you a whole new freedom that you wouldn't otherwise have.
You can imagine your breath when when we're doing some of these winter scenes. You can squint at a fake sun and the volume, and those guys who have created this game build that in for you. So that freedom he's talking about, it's so exciting to explore.
And I think it sets it up for what Call of Duty is, which is great storytelling. But please put hands together for our cast who've come down here today. The 3 Js. Thank you so much. And all we're talking about there is the campaign. That's just all we're talking about there. Now, Dolly, I would guess you're still excited right now.
I mean, I think I'm just in a state of excitement. I can't really get out of it. That was awesome and very insightful to hear from the cast. Now, don't worry, we still have a lot of general tweets from the community to deliver to Glenn and Michael. We've got just a handful right here. We have Rob Stang, who says, I hope Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield give us at least a little tease of multiplayer during the real. Smiley face. And at Woodworth Noah, who, and this is in all caps by the way, this is going to be amazing. Loads of exclamation marks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, as I look through all the tweets, there is an enormous amount of questions revolving around multiplayer. Guys, what can you tell us about multiplayer today?
So there you go, the community has spoken. That's what lots of people are excited about. Michael, what can you tell us about multiplayer?
Oh my goodness, we have so much to share. Now, we can't show you a lot today, a lot of big stuff coming at E3, but first and foremost, we're talking boots on the ground combat. And, you know, that well-balanced Call of Duty run-and-gun action in a brutal and visceral head-to-head conflict of World War II. So from maps to movement to weapons to melee, you know, our goal was to give players an all-new boots on the ground experience for World War II.
Ik hoop dat er een vraag komt over supply drops. Van wat gaat er in supply drops komen?
They're not gonna be supply drops.
Nee, sowieso niet. Sowieso komen er wel supply drops erin.
Ja. We're also excited about Divisions. Divisions is a fundamentally new way to approach your Call of Duty multiplayer career, and it adds to the player immersion by allowing players to enlist in a specific unit of their choice. And finally, we have Headquarters. This is something special, everybody, at Sledgehammer Games, and it's the first of a kind for the Call of Duty community. It's really a living space where fans can connect, be rewarded, compete, show off, and have fun outside of matches. It's a transformation of how the community comes together, and we really want you to see it to understand it. So, just a tiny peek here. Let's take a look.
Dit is niet in-game. Jezus, fucking hell, dat ziet er goed uit.
Sowieso niet.
That was a little tinier than I expected, OJ.
So when we see more? When we can see more of this?
Well, you know, it's coming to E3, MP on the floor. For us, that's the first time Sledgehammer Games has been able to bring it to fans. Fans are coming.
Ik weet niet meer wanneer E3 is
It's going to be
eigenlijk
big.
uit.
We're going to bring all that to you at E3.
That is going to be excellent.
Stop my flow.
Hey guys. I'm sorry to interrupt. I mean, multiplayer sounds sensational, but after reading other people's questions, I want to ask one of my own. Now, I know that there may or may not be some sort of co-op mode within World War II. Now, I am quite a big Zombies fan, and there is a lot of people watching around the world that are also in the same boat as me. So we're all asking right here, right now, what can you tell us about this co-op mode?
Absolutely nothing.
No, that's hard.
No, that's sorry. Yeah, you know, our third mode is it's an entirely new story, and it's a pretty horrifying experience, sort of like your office. You know, for Michael and I, it's our first horror game in years, and we're really, really psyched about it. It's the story of the Third Reich's desperate attempt to create an army in the final stages of the war. We can't wait to share more. In fact, should we show a little
Dus
something?
zombies.
Zombies. Gewoon sniperlieten net zoals. Ja hoor.
It's darling before makeup.
Ja.
Het is gewoon net als bij sniperlieten, weet je wel.
Dat ziet er echt goed uit.
Dat is gewoon precies sniperlieten verhaal. Ja.
This says very little, and normally I would be a little disappointed, but how can I be when, I mean, that just looks incredible. I would ask for more, but I'm probably going to get a no, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
At least I tried.
That is
Zombies,
a
kom
on the
terug.
biggest cinema screen in the United Kingdom. And I think that is a fabulous way to end this first look at the Call of Duty World War II. It's been an absolute ton of fun, and it's been great having you guys here.
Nee.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure. You know, our hearts are full being able to share with fans. And we hope fans are just as excited about Call of Duty World War II as we are to make it. Without a doubt, it really is the most personal and powerful game I've ever worked on. And
Ze mogen dit ook absoluut niet gaan opfokken, want als ze dit gaan opfokken, dan is Call of Duty echt gewoon totaal dood.
Yeah, and you know,
Dan hebben ze niks
our
meer.
thanks again for the support. This game is for you. And I'm sure Michael would agree, we've talked about this before, that this is the best game we've ever made.
The best game.
The best
game.
Yes.
There you go. So thank you very much.
The best
to
game.
Glenn and to Michael from Sledgehammer Games. It is going to be such a wait till November the 3rd, it really is. So stick it in your iCal, tattoo it to the inside of your eyelids. November the 3rd, that is when this new Call of Duty, going back to its root, is coming out. World War II with this game. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep in touch by the
November.
How should we leave it?
Verdomme.
November.
Let's have another look at that trailer.
Dus ga nog een keer naar de trailer kijken.
This day is set upon a mighty endeavor. Souls will be shaken with the violences of war. In this hour of great sacrifice, we shall prevail.
Get your head down and keep moving! We are all that separates the world from darkness. The enemy is ruthless. We cannot, we must not fail.
Duty first.
Hey! We'll be there for you! How many casualties? We executed the mission. Get me the fuck out of here! How many? We had orders! Get to cover!
Lieutenant, tell them what we're all about.
No mission too difficult. No sacrifice too great.
Welcome to the bloody first. You're a long way from Texas for him, boy.
Pre-order now and get access to the private beta.
Tja, oh, wat nu dan? Moeten we nu nog 2 minuten wachten? Of komt er dan een andere Worldwide reveal? Tja, dat was me zeker wat. Dat ziet er echt geweldig uit.
Hier kan je nog wel lekker op wachten, maar.
Hier kan ik zeker op gaan wachten. Ik hoop alleen dat die beta alleen er is wanneer ik er ook ben. Black Ops had hem ergens eind augustus, maar ja, we moeten maar afwachten en kijken hoe het gaat afspelen. Nou, na vandaag kunnen we gaan pre-orderen. Natuurlijk gaan we pre-orderen. Want ik weet niet zeker of we kunnen of ik echt vandaag of morgen gaan pre-orderen, moet ik even kijken.
Goed op tijd. Een half jaar.
En wat komt dan over een minuut? Dat vraag ik me best wel af. We moeten even kijken wat er over een half minuutje komt. Ik heb geen idee, maar in één keer nog een keer de trailer zien, toen in één keer kregen we dit.
Echt de slechtste timing ooit.
Wat was het dan?
Ja, Cor, voor kerk of zo.
Voor wat?
Voor kerk.
Nou, dat is wel aast een van de slechtste timing ooit.
Ja, dat is echt de slechtste timing.
Ja, nou.
Nou, dat maakt ook niet zo uit. De trailer kan ik altijd nog een keer kijken.
Wat zullen we zien over 5 seconden?
Over 6 seconden bij mij.
Nou, fucking hell. Begin bij mij nu.
Begin bij mij? Nu.
Oh, wacht, ik zie Access PlayStation. Worldwide reveal post-show. Dat gaan we zo zien.
Cool, boys. Right. See you back at the hotel. Let's get to the rooftop bar.
And this is Dave.
Right, okay, thank you. Do you forget for a moment?
En er is een timer van 12 minuten bij.
Look, we've got 12 minutes. There is a countdown that's going on. We're going to wrap up everything that you've seen
11:49, 48.
Oh
Come on,
my
Nate.
God, what happens when it gets to zero, man? And Holly's got a list of stuff that we're going to go through, we're going to chat through, and then we're going to get Glenn and Michael back on stage to answer a couple of our questions. So Holly, kick us off, Holly. What's the number one on your list?
Okay, so this one kind of sounds a little bit daft, but with Call of Duty World War II, they have said that they haven't been able to make this before because it needed current gen technology. So they couldn't do it previously.
Certainly looks different. Dave and I are quite old, and we
Speak
remember
Come on, dude.
World War II games that we used to play on old systems. They did not look like this one.
I know, I
They
distinctly remember playing Call of Duties, like the first 4.
Yeah.
Through a SCART lead.
Yeah, very
so
close
like
to the
SD,
screen.
I mean HD, World War II, come on Dave, HD now is pretty exciting, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly, and like you were saying, it's very appropriate.
4K, yeah.
This screen is enormous. I hope they don't put our faces on it at any point, because that would be terrible for everybody. Yeah, it's really appropriate here. It's going to be a big cinematic experience. But it's also got a story, Holly, point number 2.
It does have a story. Yeah, we're actually going to be following Private Red Daniels.
The most American name ever.
It is the most American name ever because he is in the American army.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But however, there will be Allied soldiers as well, so you'll come across the French.
Nee, het is dus nice.
Yeah, and it's a story about camaraderie. I picked up on that term a lot, camaraderie.
Yeah, you I can't even say it. I say it wrong. I say camaraderie.
Well, you're saying it wrong.
Well,
It's
that's why I
camaraderie.
didn't say it.
So that's pretty exciting. I mean, you know, it's going to be a story about a squad, not just a person.
Pretty exciting.
And how they interact. There's also going to be iconic World War II moments.
Definitely like the feel of it.
You're like number 3.
Yes, or if you like, yeah, number 3.
Well, it's good. The journey is very much kind of 1945, 1944 through Europe from D-Day. It's the kind of, you know, it's the classic. I think Band of Brothers is a big touching point for people of my generation. So it's going to be, yeah, moving from kind of France, that big kind of set piece of the D-Day landing, all the way through to Germany.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some of the D-Day landings in the trailer, which looks harrowing and horrible. And they've also spoken about the Battle of the Bulge, the liberation of Paris, and then I heard the Rhine was mentioned, and you know,
you were really taking notes,
in
man.
1945.
You were doing well.
I'm just saying, man. You know what else happened in 1945?
Holly,
yeah, quick wiki before we came out here.
I'm so conscious of the numbers, Holly. These ones ticking down, and our next one, which is.
Right, we're going into the multiplayer.
Die shit is
stuff.
echt cool.
Multiplayer.
Yeah.
For me,
Multiplayer
is one of the coolest things. This is like a social space. So this is where you can almost come and hang out beforehand.
Het is een
I
halsband
know a
om.
little bit more, and I think I'm going to try and push Glenn and Michael to give me a bit more later on as well.
Exactly. Imagine if we got the opportunity to actually
Well, they said sneak peek, and it was like the sneakiest peek ever. I mean, it was like looking through a little crack.
I
in the
actually door.
missed
it. Yeah, I know.
You were writing
turned
notes
away.
at the time. But I mean, it's pretty amazing. That's like a completely new innovation for Call of Duty. Like, so I don't
Pretty.
know what that is
Het was me letterlijk een 2 seconden aan beeld. Je kan niet zoveel zeggen aan dat. Maar
that's the bit you're good at. Really good at multiplayer.
Dit zijn echt de Britse personen ooit.
Ja.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, mate.
Some new modes which have been announced. Holly,
Thanks,
you have
Dave.
a line to tell us about. This is on point number 5. Divisions, right?
I will tell you my line about divisions. So this basically allows you to take on, funnily enough, different divisions. For example, you could take infantry, or you could take being in the armored division. However, it will impact your MP progression.
Yeah,
the
this is
multiplayer
such a
progression.
huge thing on Call of Duty, so it's really interesting that there's this like a mode that's going to kind of change the way that you progress through the online system. And there's another one, Dave, which has got my favourite. I
like this one.
I don't know how they came up with this name, but one of them's called War. It's a new mode called War. Can you tell us what are the details on War, Holly?
I will tell you the details on War mode. This is narrative driven. So the idea here is the players take part in some of the iconic World War II battles, the Allied versus the Axis forces, but this time you're in teams and you're fighting for strategic objectives.
Right.
As soon as I heard strategy, man, I thought
I'm thinking, you know, big war room table, pushing around
I could be good at
guys,
that, yeah.
and then doing the battles for the greater good of your team.
So it's just great, but it is great that there's new modes coming, there's new multiplayer experiences still coming out of Call of Duty. We need to move along though. We're talking about kind of online experiences. Co-op mode. We tossed a coin. Who gets to say it?
Dave gets to say it.
Nazi zombies.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was overwhelmed by the moment then. Nazi zombies. Which, I mean, you all saw the art. Looks ridiculously hideous. Like really, really horrible. And they've, again, just whet our appetites with that. So not
a lot to say, but well, you know.
Just Western
Yeah, the idea is Third Reich, they're getting desperate, so they've turned to the crazy science, which has created Nazi zombies.
Yeah, it's the classic Nazi zombie story.
Nazi occultism.
Yeah.
Bad dudes. And we're gonna round out. Obviously, we're from PlayStation Access, so this is good news for us. The PlayStation relationship.
Thank you to the one person who walked, by the way. That's really nice of you.
We can't see you because of the lights, but you're my favourite. And the PlayStation relationship continues for another year. Holly, what does that mean?
So we know the beta is coming, but we can
The
tell
beta.
you will be playing it
The
first.
beta. The beta is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's better. That's some PlayStation.
Right, well, I guess we should kind of move on to the next bit. So that was our wrap-up. So in case for some reason you missed the live stream, this was kind of the wrap-up of everything that was shown and hopefully a little bit more. But I guess we should bring our guests out so we can grill them and try and get more information.
Brilliant to put some questions too. Let's welcome back onto stage Glenn and Michael from Sledgehammer. Hi guys.
Ja, je hoort hem al hoor. Je hoort hem al aankomen.
Is it camaraderie? Oh, dude, I've said that.
I think it was camaraderie.
Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh, I'm gonna have to change my question.
I don't have a pocket to put my hand in to look really relaxed.
So, guys, so that was an amazing presentation. Thank you so much for joining us back on stage. For people who watch our channel, it's not a Call of Duty kind of dominated channel. So we hear boots on the ground a lot, right? And I think anyone who follows Call of Duty knows exactly what that
Wees
means.
een gentleman en laat dat wijf toch zitten.
Ze zit toch, jong?
Ja, maar op een stoel.
Ze zit op een stoel. Bank dan.
Going back to boots on the ground mean?
Op de
Boots on
leuning.
the ground, classic Call of Duty, run and gun, fast action, strategic gameplay, right? It's what Call of Duty was born with and what we're bringing it back to. So it's fun, it's fast, it's strategic, it's that great skill-based gunplay that made Call of Duty what it is today.
And it's also, I mean, one of the things that really struck me from your presentation, and I mentioned Band of Brothers on stage. I've actually been watching with my son. He's probably slightly too young to watch it, so I won't say how old he is, but it is very interesting to think that there's a generation of players out there who this is going to be their first kind of big media exposure to World War II, right? And that's something that you guys get to give them. So is that something that you guys as a studio have thought about a lot?
Yeah, we knew there'd probably be 1-2 generations that haven't really watched Private Ryan, and it's been 10 years since the last World War II game with Call of Duty. So that was one of the reasons why we paid real attention to getting everything right and trying to really tell the story. And as we said earlier,
Private
it's
Ryan.
about respect.
Ze heeft nog nooit Saving Private Ryan gezien.
So
Nee.
we want to make sure that they're not, if they do, when they play the game, they learn something, and what they do learn will be correct. It's still about having fun, but get the details right.
Je luistert fluit naar.
Almost 3 years ago, it was really wanting to tell
Oh, 420 gemist, kut.
narrative and a story,
Shit.
largely to ensure that this sort of conflict doesn't happen again. And as we dove in with our military historian and got to know the veterans and really researched, it was powerful for us because not only were we telling the story so that it would never happen again, but we're telling it because the people who fought in that war aren't here to tell it for themselves, right? And so there is a lot of honor and respect that we put behind this. Everybody at the studio has put behind it because
we learned a lot. I mean, we learned so much, digging really deep into it. And I think one of the other things is that in the last 20 years, a lot more information has gotten.
Ik wacht voor zo'n comment van Twitter van get your flout nose out of the way.
Flout nose.
And guys, we
Beter ga je tweeten.
Nee,
You have a funny nose. You have a funny sounding nose.
You have a funny sounding anus.
Dare I say camaraderie or camaraderie? There's a squad. There's a squad friendship. Exactly, friendship. There's friendship between soldiers. Any chance we're going to be seeing any of the story told from any of their perspectives, or is this very much Red's story?
Well, it's Red's story, but it's also the story of the platoon, and what they, who and what they encounter. So
Zijn no gay?
we'll have different characters.
What gay?
It's an international war, so and it's also a different time. Right, so we have a lot of different characters in the game, and we talked about Rousseau earlier, and Zussman and Crowley, who's British. We also have we bump into an African American
fucking wittig en die blijven of zo.
Of course, the way that they were treated is going to be shown in the game, and we don't really pull any punches in the game. We just try and tell the truth.
And, you know, and really across the whole game, single player, multiplayer, zombies. This is a global cast and a diverse cast, right? So there's heroes of the war from all over the globe. Nearly every country is involved in some way, and so women heroes, men heroes, you know, all kinds of diversity of opportunities to play characters throughout the World War II conflict, and that was important to us.
And Call of Duty is going back to World War II, which I know the whole world is very excited about, you know, where it all began. Was part of your process at all going back and looking at the, you know, the early Call of Duty games set in World War II, and if so, what were you looking for, and what did you learn from those?
Glenn and I have been making games for 20 plus years.
We remember them coming out.
And we were fans of the franchise before we were developers of the franchise, so it was a real honor to be given the opportunity as a studio. It was pretty humbling for Activision to give us a chance to bring it back to its roots. But we really wanted to tell our
shit, ik heb 1-3-4 gemist.
story, you know,
Fucking wittig.
First Infantry, the fighting first 15,000.
Nou 96, oh nee wacht.
Nou gaat een beetje moeilijk.
So it's a very original and unique story that we bring to life in this game.
Cool. Now we
21.
minutes, so there's one
21.
thing we really want to ask
Die kan wel één maar doen.
headquarters. So obviously
You were going to grill us.
well, a couple of minutes, so probably not.
Okay,
But can you really give us some kind of details? What do we do in this space? Now, we've seen other online shooters with social spaces, and you can visit vendors, and you can interact with your friends. What are you actually bringing with headquarters?
But what I can tell you, E3 is going to be huge for us, right?
Gaan ze weer over
But I will
E3
tell you,
hoor.
Headquarters is a big deal. Headquarters is really a big innovation that we've put a lot of time into at this studio. We're calling it the off-front line experience. There's so much great community of Call of Duty fans out there.
Nou, ik ben wel
We
benieuwd
want
naar
to
E3
provide a way for
eigenlijk.
them to be rewarded, to compete, to be recognized, to show off, and to be social.
En nou
So
E3.
there'll be fun new things you can do only in headquarters. Uh-oh, I think I lost my mic.
Are you good?
And
showing
a bunch of ways to really engage in the community in ways you haven't done before.
Amazing. Well, that is it, guys.
That
Thank you
is
so
up.
much for
Come back.
coming back out and joining us.
Appreciate it.
Guys, thank you so much for watching at home, for being here. We really appreciate
Ja,
it.
wat gaat ze nog doen?
Very, very nerve-wracking.
Ze hebben
now,
nog...
you guys, we would really like it if you would stay tuned for the YouTube channel, because there's always more coming up. We're definitely seeing you guys at E3 now.
Certainly.
So you don't forget to join PlayStation
Subscribe
Access, because there's going to be
op
loads more coverage of Call
en
of Duty
werk.
World
En
War
maak je
II.
dit eronder.
Thank
En
you
met
so much for joining us. It's been an incredible evening, and we look forward to see what you've got coming.
Thanks to you, and
We look
thanks to
forward
everyone
to-
here.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
been great.
Thank you. Oh.
The Second World War goes beyond all boundaries in every category. We see more nations involved.
Er is nog een keer
in the
behind the
same conflict.
scenes.
We
Ja.
see casualties higher than ever before. Just
Oh.
a generation before.
Ik krijg alles 2
at the
keer
end
te
of the
zien.
First World War, the Great War. They didn't call it World War I because they expected that nothing like this would ever happen again. And a generation later, something happens that's even bigger and even worse in so many ways.
We have the honor of making this year's Call of Duty called World War II.
Our chance to
But
tell
there's-
the epic, gritty, visceral story of the world's greatest conflict.
There is a genuine interest in producing a product that is historically authentic.
Every part of this game has been researched and nuanced and studied. And
Waar ik wel
scanned
echt
and
benieuwd in ben,
photographed.
zeg maar, dat had World War
Really
niet.
tried to get the respect and
Of Hitler er ook in
details
voorkomt.
right of the game.
Of iets, een vorm van
Of
Hitler.
ja, misschien dat je zo binoculars en dan zie je hem daar in de verte. Dat
Want
zou cool zijn.
in World of War was er gewoon een klein filmpje van Hitler, maar daar bleef het echt bij.
Honoring the story
De rest?
was crucial for us, and it was something we really committed to.
Ja, precies.
Waarom heb ik niks van Hitler gezien dan?
Ergens in de cutscene zit Hitler in de World
Daar ben
War
ik
War.
cutscene.
World War. Fuck off,
Ja, maar ik heb nooit die cutscenes gezien. Ik kwam niet verder dan de tweede level. En dat vond ik gewoon niet leuk.
Hopefully players will walk away from this story feeling like they really know these guys.
Welcome to the bloody first.
Niet gillen of zo,
We
yes.
care about them.
Niet kummen.
Influences the game in a huge way. The lighting and the tonality and the colors.
Hebben we de Chinese kerel weer?
Oh, daar, Joey Salad.
Zijn je Salmi Salad?
Nee, ik zei Joey Salad.
Joey Salad.
The vision for the art direction we call dark and beautiful. It was
Salad.
emotionally dark, visually beautiful. More than just being cool and pretty, it's about trying to get people to have a deeper emotional reaction to the game.
Our modeling department is amazing. The weapons, vehicles, the tanks, even the cars you might see on a city street. The level of detail is just phenomenal.
It's a huge endeavor.
Ja, dit is zo echt, dat gedeelte. Dat was echt zo echt. Ik weet het niet. Ik zou dat niet kunnen zeggen of het echt was of in de game.
Sometimes the hardest things are the biggest payoffs. The combination of the model, the animation, and the audio creates that punchiness to the weapon.
We record everything. Every location we record in for the game. The ambiences, the music, the dialogue, everything has to be created from scratch. So we had a real opportunity here to do a level of authenticity and
Fucking
reality,
witte.
true to the war, true to the soldiers who fought in that war. We had this great opportunity with Marty Morgan, our military advisor.
Nou, dan gaat witter.
We spent a lot of time on a gun range with all of the authentic World War II weaponry.
It's critical to understand the absolute
Fucking witte.
violence of the Second World War. It's critical to understand how weapons and firepower function.
This is a story that's bigger than all of us. This is a whole new generation who might not have a lot of experience with in this time period. I think this is a great opportunity to have them experience that and feel that.
We've made something pretty incredible and I'm very proud of it.
It's perhaps the greatest compliment I've been paid in my career.
Laten we hopen dat Activision niet genoeg fucken.
This is the most powerful game I've ever worked on. It's very personal. It's very humbling.
You know, I've been making games for over 26 years. And I'll tell you, it's the best game we ever made.
Oh, waar blijft die ping? Ping! Ja, dat doet hem eventjes. Worldwide review. Ping! Wat komt er nu dan nog? Is dat? Nee, nu komt alleen muziek.
Moeten we weer wachten, zeker?
Ik weet niet.
We
zijn nog 6 minuten.
Kan niet.
Nou ja, oké, goed, maar er zijn nu zoveel vragen die ze gewoon totaal niet hebben beantwoord, hè?
De supply drops.
Supply drops, verder details en zombies, maar dat gaan ze allemaal op E3 doen. Dus eigenlijk gewoon een gaming convention, daar worden heel veel reviews gedaan. Dan kun je heel veel... Ja, ik weet niet wanneer E3 is. Dat is het probleem van dit jaar. Als je gewoon intikt E3 2017, dan vinden we het wel. E3, gewoon E3. Juni.
Ja, juni.
Dat gaat nog wel
Ik wou het Engels-Nederlands zeggen.
Oké, toen was het geluid gewoon compleet weg. Oh, oké, goed. Oh, weet ik dat?
Nee, ik heb het ook.
Oh, nou, bedankt voor het kijken. Nou, dat was het.
Jongens, nou dat was op subscribe, Call of Duty.
Er zat nog veel meer ingepland.
E3 is...
E3, dat was juni, zei je toch?
Ja, dat zag ik net wel zo snel even bijkomen.
Als je gewoon intikt E3 2017, dan weet ik veel.
E3 is dus juni.
Juni 13 tot en met 15.
Nou,
dat duurt nog wel lempjes, ja. Dan krijgen we dus denk ik echt info wanneer de beta komt. Nou, ik weet het niet, want er is altijd zoveel info over. Altijd wel, dan moet je gewoon even kijken of er een grote YouTuber is die gewoon info verspreidt.
Wikipedia pagina.
Nou, dat meestal tweet Call of Duty dat zelf allemaal uit.
Nou, dan check je het.
Ja. Kan jij niet doen, hè?
Ik had sowieso zo'n goed Twitter-account maken.
Nou ja, dat was zeker wat.
Nou, dat was het, jongens.
Dat was het eigenlijk wel, ja.
Dat was het. Dus abonneer Markie 2200, abonneer Mufflik 134, abonneer Call of Duty. Jasmin, heb jij een kanaal?
Nee.
Jasmin heeft
ik heb geen kanaal.
Nee. Jasmin heeft geen kanaal. Maar dat was heel leuk.
Offline? Nee, ik zeg gewoon prima. Nou, stop eens met fluitneusjes.
Ik ben die gozer.
Stop eens met fluitneusjes of zo. Nou ja.
Nou, dat was het, jongens. Dat was heel erg leuk.
Ja, hou nu maar op.
Doei.